Welcome back to the one show I look forward to each and every week as we take you not just into the world of dining and restaurants, but behind the kitchen doors. That's where we want to go. We want to see what's happening back there with the man who's been directing the orchestra behind the kitchen doors for many a year, Chef Pascal. Welcome.
Yeah, today actually we from behind to the front. Look at that.
Ah, okay. We're going to go back and forth here. It really is two different worlds. When I had my own involvement in the restaurant world, there's the front of the house and the back of the house. Mm-hmm. And the front of the house is the personality and the staff and the customer service, and the back of the house is making it as good as you can do it.
But if the front of the house is happy, I mean the kitchen is doing a great job.
Exactly. And you were one of the first pioneers that brought those two worlds together, because for many years we never saw what would happen behind the kitchen door. The chef never came out.
Yeah. So we have Chef Andrea, and she was not always chef. We met a few years ago. I don't know what, 7, 8 years? 7, 8 years. And I first met Chef Andrea now as a student at Saddleback College.
Oh, okay.
And I would just say that privately, she was out of the pack, I would say. She always, and sometimes I was not too happy about it, because I say, you have to follow my recipes. Do you remember that?
Oh, I remember. I have some stories.
Not a democracy.
I have some stories about that.
And this is where I find out that she has something very special. She wanted more and do more and put a little touch on everything. And mainly because my class was a French class, and she spent time in France, so she knew about French cuisine, and her roots, and so she really to make sure everything was perfect, even more than perfect. And so she did very well in the class, she was a A student, and then one day I said, well, maybe you can work for me, and she said, oui, chef.
Oui, chef. That's the two words you love to hear more than anything else. Oui, chef.
Oui, chef. And so Andrea worked for me several years and doing some cooking at Sherman Garden, or helping me on some catering, or all kind of.
And come on, tell us the truth. What's he like? Is he? I bet he's kind of a tyrant in the back room there. It's like, don't ask, just do it my way.
Go ahead.
Shall we go? All right. Well, you did have Chef Cloyce here.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you had Chef Chelsea here.
Yeah.
Right.
I worked with another iconic personality in that kitchen, which was Chef Cynthia, who maybe you'll have one day.
Yeah.
Wow, those guys taught me a lot, because when I showed up on the scene at Pascal, when I said oui, chef, it was probably the only time for a long time, because we were so used to having conversations together, and we'd speak French together. And we both, I think, loved that, because I lived in France for 13 years of my life, and I loved speaking French with you, and speaking about food, that's all the better. And so we would have that exchange, and then we get in the kitchen and it's crunch time, and Chef Pascal would say, okay, put this there, and I'd say, well, why are we I would have a conversation like it was any other time, and he's
like, a discussion.
I wanted a discussion at all times. That's just who I am, and who he was to me as a teacher and mentor before working with him.
No time to talk about it.
And Cloyce would just say, yes, chef. That's all you need to say. And they would go like this from the other side of the line, and they'd say, yes, chef. Like, that's all you need to say. And it took me a good long time to do that, because of the rapport I felt with you early on, of just coming together about something we were very passionate about, which is feeding people, cooking and feeding people.
So that was not a common language. It was a common lifestyle. Our language was food. On top of being French, our language was food. And And because you have a little bit of passion.
Just a little.
And then and you're very meticulous and things like that. So after that, you decide to say, hey, and
Hey,
hey,
is that French for what the heck?
hey, yeah, hey, I'm going to go on my own, you know. And she became a private chef.
Right.
She worked for family, pretty much full time, and helping making meals for members of a special family, and then she also helped people who need to get meals, you know, and she even helped me on that during my medical trouble. She was my best medication. She brought me some basket of food.
I got to stop you right there. She was your best medication.
Yes.
Better than you talked about the miracle. You were here at UCI, and they saved your life and got you through all these troubles and the cancer that you experienced and all that. But you're saying she was
She brought this
the best
beautiful
medicine.
basket. She said, "Oh, I'll bring you a little picnic. Yeah, you open this up. You have everything well done. The napkins, the flowers inside, the whole thing, and then like a three-course dinner."
And today, you can't see it because they're below the table here off the camera, but she brought baskets of food.
Well, that's
in a
where we
basket.
met, was with baskets.
Basket.
The first time I met Chef Pascal, actually had a conversation first face-to-face. My friend was in your class, and she said, you have to meet Jeanette. She said, you have to meet Chef Pascal and come early to class. I've already set it up. And so that's why we have this today, is because I made him homemade pork rillette.
Yes.
And homemade bread with the mustard and the cornichon.
But the rillette is very kind of a shredded pork pate with a little bit of duck fat or his own fat.
It's just its own fat.
I've never heard of this.
Well, you can try some today if you like, but it's very rustic, very French. All the regions of France boast of their own. This would be pâté de Tours because I was living from the Loire. And I brought that, and he just said, I can't believe we're having a meal before class. And that's where I feel like you understood my heart and why I felt you're welcome and that we would be a good match.
Meals, when you break bread with somebody, does that also break the ice and start a conversation? Because I've seen that in some cultures.
Definitely.
Food is what starts the conversation.
For sure.
It doesn't finish the conversation. It's not like you have a conversation and then you sit down and eat and stop talking. It's the opposite. The food opens up a relationship.
Well, especially the bread. I have to do a little parenthesis there.
Okay.
I started last week on CNN a show called Breaking Bread.
Oh,
interesting.
Yeah, it's some
same idea.
It's from with Tony Shalhoub. It's
the famous actor, right?
And Monk,
that crazy show Monk, where he was a detective. Yeah,
and the first episode, you need to watch it. It's in New York. It goes to a special bakery and call it Breaking Bread. And you can talk about that meaning behind breaking bread. Bread brings people together.
It does break open conversations. It starts things rather than when you break bread with somebody, it means you're going to start talking and start a relationship, start a conversation. Too often, in my world where I grew up, food was the end of the conversation. You talked, you ate, you drank, you did whatever, and then you went and sat down and had dinner. It was all over.
And I'm sure in France you enjoy that too. You know, you cannot have a meal without a baguette or country bread. And even my grandfather had a loaf of country bread that lasts 3-4 days, and his big knife, all the loaf and cut, sliced like this.
And can I take advantage of this and ask you a question? And I say this in all seriousness, and you're going to say, oh, come on, Paul. I didn't grow up where bread was an important part of our culture. We didn't make bread. We didn't buy fresh bread. I ate Wonder Bread. That's all I ate my whole life. Store-bought Wonder Bread. That's all I thought bread tasted like. We didn't break it open. It was already sliced, and we just pulled it out and ate it. When I went to, I've never been to France, but when I went to New Orleans numerous times later in life, and saw French baguettes, French bakeries, and people lined up around the block to get that fresh bread. I'd never tasted such a thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's common in every culture. Asian cultures, I don't think have.
Every
bread.
culture has its own type of bread, our own type of dough.
Okay.
But no,
So what's so magical about bread in French culture?
well, the flour, the levain, the wheat, and the technique.
What's I don't know what levain is.
The leavening agent.
Oh, the leavening agent. Okay, right.
And look at that. Oh, I can see you between, and you can smell it.
I'm telling you, French bread, if it's done right, tastes unlike any bread I've ever had in the world.
It has a little bit of a
Okay.
sourdness,
Yeah.
a good crust.
Kind of like big air bubbles in it and everything here.
It's very important.
And it's always
Having some bubbles is important. Some people will go for a very open, lacy crumb, is what we call it. And then everything sort of falls through.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm going for in this, application of bread. It has what it needs. It shows you that it's properly fermented. And
So before I even-
how is that for you?
go ahead.
Oh,
You okay?
really?
So before I even taste it, it has a smell to it. It has an aroma to it.
Right. That's a fermentation. So that's a lot of people in the States, we call it sourdough.
Yeah, right.
I don't call my bread sourdough. I'm a bit of a stickler on that one because I think the flavor sour is,
A turnoff for a lot of people.
well, and it's overdone. Sometimes
Actually,
it's just
they make
too,
it sour for no.
it's
no
too
need, just
sour.
very sour,
And
yeah.
when dough is sour, like truly sour, which some people go for, you can't taste all the great things that
it's
you're
an-
putting on it. It needs to,
It's a natural sourness from the
fermentation.
fermentation, and she doesn't add yeast. She made her own starters.
yes.
And then the other thing always strikes me about French bread is if it's done right. If it's done bad, it's just hard. But if it's done right, it's hard on the outside and very soft and I'd say gooey, but that's probably an awful word. But it's soft and
Well, it should have.
sumptuous. It's tasty on the inside. It's not hard. Too many French rolls you get are just dried and hard. all
So
the way
for
through.
the gluten development, which is what you're looking for, it's about mouthfeel and texture, which you know about.
Better way to
talking
say it,
about
right.
the flavor Bible and all the different things they talk, that X factor, it's that mouthfeel. And this has some stretch to it. It's not going to just pull apart. And that's by design.
Exactly.
And that is working the gluten in such a way, and it's a 2-day fermentation. It's basically a 3-day process,
Wow.
if not more.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
3
it's
days to make this bread?
well, it's a good 2. Yeah, this is we're Wednesday, so this started out Monday morning. It rested cold ferment Tuesday, and here we are Wednesday. I baked it.
And you somehow,
Early.
I don't understand enough about baking, but somehow I know you get something, looks, I'm going to use terrible words, looks like a blob of something. It's the dough. And then you work that and shape that and do something to it.
Well,
And
You
know,
need to come to a class.
I have no idea how
You're
bread is
coming to
made.
class.
Yeah.
Be my guest.
Zero.
The dough you make is alive.
Yeah.
So
It's alive, okay.
Yeah, when she made it, now she knows because she has practice. But if you make it at the first or second time, you're not sure it's going to come out, because the
Meaning what, it won't rise or won't come
rest
together?
long enough, did it rise enough?
There's a lot of information on bread making. I've been making bread. My grandmother's Italian. My mom was from Italy. And my first memories are making homemade bread, homemade pasta, homemade cheeses. That's why I make everything from scratch as much as possible because of just the process. To me, it is the way to do it. And so in teaching people, there's a lot of information on the internet on sourdough, all the right ways. Some of it is just people, trying to get clicks. But there's a more simple process, but simple doesn't mean less time. It's
No,
just
but
maybe a little less complicated than we overcomplicate things often.
It is actually, I was surprised because I took your class. You invite me, your bread class, because I never done that kind of bread before.
The great chef, Pascal, hasn't made bread by hand like that, you're saying?
No, never. No.
With long fermentation or all together? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You've made bread with yeast and regular, just active dry yeast, cake yeast.
And so I was really amazed that actually there's nothing artificial there. No, everything's natural.
That sounds good.
It's just flour, water, and you add salt.
Tell us the base of a starter. What's a starter?
A starter is flour and water and basically time. It takes days to put those two things together and let them do their magic by collecting wild yeast from the air, and that begins a fermentation process. So you can make your own starter, no problem. Anyone can make their own starter. It just takes several days.
And then you have to feed the starter.
Yeah, then you're feeding your starter to where it has to become really strong. I have a bake day. I feed my starter the day before I'm going to bake.
And this is something that it sits out and literally picks up.
It'll just sit on the counter. It's actually has it inside. It doesn't pick up any more from the outside. It has it inside. I cover it tight, so it's not getting really any more to it at that point. And it's just fermenting. And I make about a solid 12 loaves a week. Just for fun. It's therapeutic for me.
Fun.
That's just a big mass of dough, and it's fun. It's nice to give away. I have private chef clients that love my bread, and they'll buy my bread, order bread, things like that. But I keep it.
I'm going to go down a little bit of a rabbit
little
hole for a second. I'm going to show you one little bit of knowledge I picked up owning a bar for a number of years. We used to sell a style of Belgian ale called a Framboise Lambic, a Lambic style. Yeah. And it's a top fermented ale. Most ales are bottom fermented. So it drops in, it sits in cold and sits there for a long time, like most beers, lager and other beers. This is wild fermentation. And they literally say in Belgium, never been to see this, as they make this, it's open. The barn is open, and there's little spores of things from the flowers and the seeds and things floating in the air here. And they count on that to make this. So each batch is a little bit different.
Yeah, well...
Because they're picking up different spores in the air.
You should not, if you want to have a constant result.
Of business,
But
you're going to get in trouble with Chef Pascal.
Yeah.
I changed his recipes before.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
You want predictability. That's why I said it seemed like a very wild process. It's
but
wild
that's an extra
fermentation.
step that she has to make sure the environment is proper. The temperature,
Control,
humidity.
Now, where there's going to be variations is I fresh stone mill a percentage of the flour that goes into the grain that goes into my bread, which makes it different than others. But we're not here to just talk about bread. But it's one of those things I like going back and doing the whole process. So in that, I call it flour power. And that's dark rye spelt einkorn. And a hard red wheat. So the percentages of all of those four play into how that's going to taste. They carry their own yeast because they're coming out of a field. Yeah. They're carrying a new aspect to it. So the bread is alive and it changes, just like when you get ready and you do your hairstyle. You're never going to look the same every single day.
So it sounds like you're somewhere in between. There's some uniqueness to each batch that you make.
Exactly.
But to Pascal's point, it falls within certain parameters. It falls
There's technique and process that needs to be...
some predictability to it.
To be respected so that you have the desired outcome.
But this is when you want to do something really artisanal. And, and forget the bleached flour, okay?
Right, unbleached.
Don't touch that.
Right, unenriched.
Totally unbleached. And you can get some... Can you say again the
so I do have an organic bread flour, which is going to be high protein flour. But then what I bring in additionally is spelt.
Yeah, spelt is amazing.
Dark rye.
And how do you spell spelt?
S-P-E-L-T, spelt, and then dark rye, which is beautiful. And when you smell it, even the grain, it just smells like alfalfa almost. Yeah. It's just amazing.
And I'm going to ask a ridiculous question again, but where would you get this stuff?
I can't go down.
No,
they're more available.
It's more and more available. I have a purveyor that I love, and I order. In fact, I should be getting an order this week. They deliver once a month. And they get things from the smaller farms and organic. I mean, it's just really wonderful. a lot of the home canners,
But
master
do they
canners.
have to bring it to you? Because it can't just sit around in a store shelf or something.
No. They bring it. You meet the truck and you help unload the truck to get your things. And so, yeah.
If she could, she will. If she had a field, she will grow her own wheat.
I would possibly grow it myself. Maybe not.
Talking about growing,
Yeah.
if you go to our place, and she give me a tour of our garden, it's like a little heaven. It has everything because she wants to make sure she has products that are seasonal in our backyard. Beside the herbs, like here, she made a special. I won't tell the whole technique, but it's kind of a little powder of rosemary and thyme.
Parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme, just like the Simon and
Simon
Garfunkel
and
song.
Unbelievable.
And the name of it is True Love of Mine. So
of course.
See, I would put it right there.
And she was a true love of mine.
That's exactly it. But no, those are some of the special things that I don't want to say elevate the cuisine, but they just put that
Your
je ne sais
touch,
quoi.
yeah.
That je ne sais quoi. I lived in France. I've lived in Africa. I grew up with Italian immigrant family. And there was just these little things that were part of the process.
I do not speak French, but that is my favorite French phrase. One of two or three I know. Je ne sais quoi. That certain something, that indefinable, doesn't even translate into English well, but it's that little certain something that I can't put my finger on, but that's what makes that special.
Yeah.
And that's where you get into trouble, and I'm sure you do too, Chef, when people ask, how do you make that? And it's like, how much time do you have?
Yeah.
Because I've pulled a little of this out of the freezer and a little of leftover this because what is the phrase? A good chef doesn't have a trash can.
There's no trash can.
Right?
Wow.
You use
Love that.
everything. So it's basically those herbs are things that, I've gathered to dehydrate from other applications.
Yeah. That's why you call your cuisine scratch cuisine.
Yeah, kind of, cooking from a scratch kitchen, cooking from scratch.
Because whatever you got at hand.
Yeah, and usually I'll make the Dijon mustard, obviously not from Dijon, but the Capo Beach mustard. I didn't today, but as much as you can, and making butter and all those things are possible.
You have pickles. Do you pickle your own cucumbers and stuff here?
These I did not. But yes, absolutely. Pascal always had pickled vegetables in the restaurant, and that's really easy to do.
So here's an important point that I think is worth stating. When I grew up, French food was aspirational, inspirational. But it was beyond the ordinary. It was something made in heaven by special chefs. And I meet Chef Pascal, as other French chefs I've met through the years, and they say, but this is what my mother cooked.
Exactly.
The inspiration came from, we just took whatever we had at hand. We used it all. A little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And suddenly, when it was all fresh and it was all grown locally and all that stuff, we got removed from that so that most of us don't know how to grow our own food, much less make our own food.
Well,
But there's a movement right now.
Yeah,
I
very
feel
much so,
like,
very much
yeah,
so.
there's a movement for that. Even among young mothers, I work with a lot of young women that have small children. In fact, I got a call on the way here today. Somebody wanted to learn how to use organ meat because of the nutrient dense.
Wow.
And I just said,
something most people would throw away, the
Yes,
the
of
liver.
course.
I know, but the best protein you can eat.
it's the best protein you can eat. And these are people that have had health concerns.
Yeah.
And so I said, well, I can't do that. That's a hard no for me. We grew up butchering all our own animals, and I didn't want to eat Sylvester's heart. I mean, I didn't want to eat. And
Their
so
lungs.
That's
or
why you
whatever,
don't give names to your.
you're not supposed to name the pets,
Yes,
but
right.
because they become pets.
I'm sure he had a good heart.
I'm sure he had a great heart.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a hard no for me for different reasons with organ meats. But these young women who have been raised on Trader Joe's was cooking a whole homemade meal.
Right.
Something almost prepared for you, but you take it home and do a couple things to it. And now they want to eat nose to tail.
Yeah.
And I think there's a definite movement here in that way. So that's what I like teaching. My passion in all of this is teaching people to cook, really. Teaching them to eat well.
Which
teaching them.
is, I think, a lost art.
It is,
for many,
and that's why.
For most of us. Chef Pascal can't imagine this, but most of my friends, most of my family do not really know how to cook, other than you put a piece of meat on a thing and you fry it up, or a piece of fish or something. Everything else is from a store.
Thanks to them, this is why we can work.
Yeah, right. All right.
And, but it's a science, it's an art, it's a passion, and it's an enjoyment because,
taking the time.
Yeah.
The only experience I had of that, and I'm not going to talk about my life a lot more here because there's no point, but because I didn't grow up in a foodie society. I grew up in the Midwest. Everything was suburban, everything was fast, everything was prepared, and so we didn't cook anything. My grandmother, who I have vague memories of, would make from scratch a pie. Mm-hmm. And meaning what you're doing, start with the flour and everything, and just for fun. And she thinks she'd make up a pie. I don't know how to make a pie. I don't know anybody in my family knows how to make a pie anymore.
As all my students and friends know, well, that's a class. So we're going to have you over for a pie class with Thanksgiving coming up. And it's just nothing more actually easy because it tastes so much better.
Yes.
It tastes better. You know where your ingredients are coming from.
And you are proud that you make something for your family and friend. You put that on the table.
And people nowadays are craving that experience.
I agree.
Yeah. They are. I just was part of a fundraiser, and I donated 2 live auction items, and they were food experiences where people come. It's dinner for 8, but you're learning. In this case, it's learning pasta, and then we'll set the table and serve them from appetizers all the way through to homemade limoncello at the end of the meal. But they've learned the middle of it. So I call it cheaper than a trip to Italy. And it's a cooking class and a full dining experience. And it's very fun to watch people's faces as you tell the stories. And then they go home and they're like, wait, my food doesn't have a story. And I go to restaurants and the best restaurants, it's, those experiences when the chef comes out and tells you what you're eating. That happens all the time in France, and here that doesn't happen
with his last
so
couple
much.
of guests, where I think they were talking specifically about the experience at your restaurant and how, I forgot the gentleman's name who now has taken it to some other restaurants, how you approach the customer, how you put the napkin out, how you move the silver around, to those kind of details, how you serve. It all comes out together, not in pieces.
I think that was rad. Yeah.
I think it was, yes. Yeah. And I thought, what a lost art. I've experienced that a few times, but not in a long time. Now, you go to even a very fine dining restaurant, and it's beautiful, and they're friendly, but it isn't much of an experience.
Yeah, you feel more, it's kind of a...
They don't cook table side. There's no story that comes in.
But you don't have to own a restaurant to experience that, bring some friends at home, and you just cook for them, and you tell them what you've done for them, and even your family, and they really love you.
They really love it. I have a student that comes almost weekly for a private class, and she was a great cook, I think, in her own right, from what I've heard, and she catches on so fast. But everything she learns with me, she goes home and she schedules a dinner party, and she says, I have to make it all A to Z for others to be able to really integrate this into my life. And you can just see, her husband has said, you can take all the classes you want with Andrea, because he's seen the benefit for herself, for their health, for the family, for their community, meaning their friends. It's really there's something really special about breaking bread, and I can't wait to watch one of those episodes.
That's the key.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
Because this art, more than other arts, has to be shared. Yes, you want somebody to watch your painting. Yes, you want somebody to listen to your song. But I don't necessarily see you watch it. I don't see you listen to it. I put it out into the world.
Right.
But with food, I see you eat it.
All right. Now we talk about bread. We have more.
Please.
Yeah. All right. So.
And I will just say, as an untrained bread taster, that is spectacular because it isn't overly sour. I don't usually like sourdough bread because it's too sour.
Nor do I. Mm-hmm.
And it overpowers everything.
So
and there's other flavors I can taste in it, too.
So this meat has been cooked slow.
Okay.
Not boiled, just
low and slow.
Yeah.
Low and slow.
Simmering until it gets soft.
And what kind of meat is it?
This is going to be pork. Okay. So this is a pork rillette, and it is really in the like a duck confit.
Yeah.
The very meaning of that is to cook in something of its own juice, and this is in its own pork fat, not grease, but the nice fat
You know,
that's
it's very
rendered
similar
from.
normally to carnita.
Very similar.
Very similar
We
technique.
just had somebody come in here and they were talking about pork in the Mexican tradition, pork belly.
Yeah.
I forget what they call it, but
Yeah,
So-
and we can't get, normally you use back fat and different things that you can't readily get. I bring in pork belly, not smoked, to get the good fat in it for the rillettes.
and fat is a word that I've just been forbidden to say in my household. That's just fat's been banished from all our foods.
Well, we're in
everywhere.
France right now, aren't we, Chef?
Now, the thing about pork belly, you have a right ratio of fat on meat.
Okay.
So once you cook it slow, then you you mix it up. It just gives that little smoothness.
That's okay. You can talk and eat here. This is our permission here.
Right, and we're with a lot of meat. We're trying to take away the fat. We're rendering the fat, getting rid of that, keeping the meat. Just because rillettes is a part would show up on a charcuterie board, and it is eaten usually cold or room temperature, something that's spreadable because of the high fat content in it. That's how it's not a low
So it's
fat.
not a pate. It's not that finely ground up or
It's a
purified.
no, yeah.
It's something you can
more
spread.
spread.
A spread. So
Are
are
you
you going to
gonna try
spread
some?
some over here? Absolutely.
Do we still have bread, or are you good?
And I ate all that bread.
Oh my gosh, look at that. This
How
is
can
what
you
I like
talk
to
and
hear.
eat at the same time?
Okay,
I'm
so
an
we have the
expert.
bread with extra, right, spring, because
I'm not
you
a
need
chef,
that.
but I play one on the radio here.
All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to put some
So
rillettes. Is it good, chef? You can comment. You can tell me if it needs something, and I will say, yes, chef.
Only thing it needs is more.
Right, so we're going to do that. We'll put
I've never seen
a little bit of Dijon mustard with it, and
love
just for
mustard.
fun, we're going to put the cornichon, which these are a Persian cornichon, and they don't have quite the bite, the acidic punch
Okay.
that a regular French cornichon has. And actually, maybe I don't prefer those for rillettes because you need something to cut through the fat. But did you try one? They're really nice.
No, but what I like, they put tarragon.
Yeah, they put tarragon. Try one. Tell me what you think. Yeah, it's a Persian cornichon.
Crunch.
Right? You've got the crunch. You've got a little bit of everything you're looking for. So even this, knowing I was going to come here. So when you're cooking at home, you're cooking for people. It's the inspiration. It's a story. I thought, I'm going to be with Pascal. What can I do? Well, let me serve him a memory. Someone told me that when I worked in your kitchen. So after a couple of months, Chef Pascal, after slapping my hands so many times for monkeying with his
You
recipes,
would literally slap your hand
no,
off.
but he could give me a look.
What a cruel boss.
She felt like, yeah.
I felt like
You have a little ruler, a little
I
soup
felt like it
ladle or
was
something?
shackles, actually, to my creativity, but that wasn't the purpose, and I just didn't know it yet. But Chef and his really, you've had so many people you've mentored here, and in your gentle, I think you're loving, you're like a father to a lot of chefs, and you see what's good for their future. It wasn't about breaking my spirit. It was about helping me learn to work in this area. But then you said, hey, how would you like to be the morning chef on Mondays? You can do whatever you want. And you have to cook all the things on the menu, but run a couple specials. So I had a savory and a sweet special for the clients. And that was really great. And one of the greatest memories was, and I would be able to go out and talk to the client after and clear their plate. And they would say, you served me a memory. My grandmother used to make this jam as homemade.
And isn't that what a good meal is? It's a memory.
It's
I can
serving
remember.
a memory. So you're getting
Great meals I've had.
Pascal's memory. How you doing there with that?
I ate the whole thing.
See, there you
What?
go.
I've never tasted anything like this. I've
It's
never
different, right?
I've never had a spread. How would you describe it? It's sort of. I'm going to use bad analogies. It does sort of seem like a chicken salad or a tuna salad or something, in that it's spreadable, but there's still some chunks and substance to it. It's not
Some
just
texture, yeah.
texture. It's not just totally smooth
I would say it's
like a pate or something.
Right. I would just say it's a spread.
Yes.
Because
right.
even chicken salad or tuna salad, we're trying to bring it into something we know.
Right.
And
exactly.
I think
That's what I'm trying to do here. Right.
And I think even better is just accepting the new experience. We don't have to assimilate it in something we
Because I'll be honest, I'm
already
not
know.
crazy about pâtés, duck pâtés
Yeah.
and stuff. I know it's a big part of French cuisine, and I don't know. It's just because of the texture. I think it's just a.
It's
Ev-
different.
Every region of France has their own style of pâté.
Okay.
But several regions of France also have their own style of rillettes. So, but if you go to kind of Normandy, borderline to Loire, just go to Le Mans, you know,
Le Mans.
The car racing, yeah.
Rillette
Rillette du Mans.
That's it. It's very famous.
And it's less fat than Rillette de Tours. I
Yeah.
lived in Tours, an hour away, and they'd say, which one do you want?
I know.
And I say, they look the same. And they're
Yeah.
like, oh, no,
Look at
madame.
the fat on the top right
Yep.
there. And
So
Yeah.
this has a chunkier consistency to it. This has a little bit more. That's why I was trying to picture like something I already
it's
knew.
chunky but soft.
It-
and
extremely
tender,
soft.
It should
smooth.
be smooth. But yeah, you don't want to put it in a blender and have a mousse
Exactly.
out
No.
of it.
Exactly.
So, right.
That's what I think when I think of spread. I think of a mousse. I think of a jam, a jelly. It's just all.
It
Same
is
consistency.
the way my mother used to do it. She cooked the meat until it's tender. She put it in a bowl and with 2 knives. She shredded it. And then she had some of the juice from the cooking juice, and especially the top, because it had the floating fat on the top, just to make it a little wet, you know. And that's it.
Can I give you another very Americanized observation here? Most French food to me, and this is both a compliment and a criticism, it's very subtle. Whereas some things I eat are just strong, barbecue or something or whatever. This is big and bold and
Can I
strong.
speak to that, Chef,
Yeah.
for a second? Okay, so growing up Italian, and my father, his family was from Mexico. He was born here, but his mother was born in Mexico, or his father. His mother was born here as well. And my mother, an Italian immigrant, we had punchy food. We
Yeah,
used
right.
garlic, we used chilies,
Exactly.
we used all of that. And then I lived in France for 13 years. And in the Loire Valley, there was such an absence of garlic. I just thought, where's the garlic? This is Europe.
Yeah.
And it just depends on what part of the country you're
Or the
in.
chilies or the big spices.
Oh, yeah,
or
where's
whatever.
all that? And
You go
so,
to Indian food, big spicy food. You go to Mexican food, big
And they
spicy
love
food,
that.
hot spicy.
they
things.
love that, but that's not what they're looking for. And so what I learned is that French food, at least my area of France, it really causes you to have a more refined palate because
much so.
everything is not covered with these bold flavors. And I asked, where's the garlic? And they said, oh, no. In our region, we use shallot. And shallots can be reduced and become buttery and just beautiful and more delicate. And that's something I always get from
Yeah.
chefs that I cook for. They'll always say, Andrea, your food, it just has your style is delicate flavors. And I'm like, well, that might be a bad thing. We're in America. And they usually say no, because you can taste everything that's in it.
Now that I'll say with this, whatever you call the spread, I could taste everything in it,
Right.
and the bread
Oh,
underneath
yeah,
it.
on the seasoning.
Yes,
And the seasoning. So
Whereas-
that, I thank France for that, because that was something, just being mindful of what you're eating, being able to, because as a Southern Baptist woman once told me, missionary, told me her husband, cheese covers a multitude of sins.
Oh yeah.
And he says that's the American way.
That is the American
and
way.
that's
Cheese
the
on everything, right.
Well, and that's a casserole with cheese all over it.
Yes.
And
That's
I would
my
say,
mother's cooking.
okay,
Everything was covered in cheese or butter
But you have
or
cheese.
salt.
you have cheese in your
Cheese
cheese.
on cheese. Well,
Yeah.
so
Yes, you do.
But we didn't taste whatever we put it on. It covered a multitude. It covered it up. It was one flavor that you got big and bold out of it.
Right.
And the same thing with a lot of ethnic cuisines. To me, Mexican food and
well, that's what
Indian
makes a
food.
big difference between, I will go to Italian cuisine, between a good pizza and a great pizza. Mm-hmm. Of course, the dough and the tomato sauce, yes. But the quality and the flavor of the cheese make the whole difference. It's unbelievable.
Right. It can, you can have a strong flavor of a cheese, but it opens the window for the sweetness of something else that's in there, for the bitter of the arugula, if you have a pizza with prosciutto and arugula on it or something. And you get a nice balance of flavors. And I think in the States, we don't have that built in like you would, maybe in France. And that's what I like to teach.
So
I learned a lot of that from you as well,
to
just
me,
balancing
you
the
do have
subtleties.
to develop a flavor for it, and you have to pay attention to it. It's a subtle flavor. And then you have to experience it more than once to start saying, to me, tasting wine. The first time I tasted wine, I said, what's so big about that? Most people start with a real sweet wine because it just tastes like something. Other wines, you have to sort of develop a palate for it, a flavor for it, an appreciation for it to get all those subtle flavors to come out.
You used to drink white Zinfandel?
Yeah, I did. I started off with white Zinfandel. Of course I did.
Amazing.
I think that was on one of your podcasts.
Yes.
I think I heard that. Yeah, you better watch what you say. I'm fact checking you right here, right now. So, since you want subtle, and you said, I think you dropped a hint that you needed more of something. So, we're just going to give you bread and butter.
Okay.
Now, if that.
But we're going to do an extra step after that. Have one bite.
Have one bite, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you have to bring it back. My hands are clean.
Okay.
Let's see.
On passe? Pas trop.
No.
It's really strong.
Yeah.
Back to subtlety.
Dumps it off.
Okay, so one of my favorite, you didn't ask me, but I'm going to tell you anyway because the world needs to know. One of my favorite memories in your kitchen was when I got in the most amount of trouble. And it's because for lunch, yes,
Oh, wow.
it was on a
wait.
Monday.
You gotta stop talking. What is this?
She still like me?
Oh my God, what is this?
Bread and butter. And that
Not like any bread and butter I've had.
it's bread and butter, and then we sprinkled it with some homemade garlic salt. Again,
my God, that
making
is-
something from scratch. And so that's a garlic salt that I made with a roasted garlic, and actually a French sea salt on that.
I don't want to lose your story here, but I had to react to
Smell-
this. Was
just
like,
smell that.
Wow. And I will go one step further, since we're being full disclosure here. I normally don't like garlic. Garlic is too something.
Same. I don't use raw garlic anymore. I can't digest it, and a lot of people can't. But anyway, that's a way to get garlic without having that issue.
So you took just plain bread and butter, which I thought tasted good. That's kind of my home comfort food, that simple thing. And you put this little splash of powder on it, tiny little dish, and it blows apart. It's not overpowering, though. That's not the way to describe it. It's just a burst of flavor.
And can you still taste the bread, and can you still taste the butter?
Absolutely.
There we go. That's a win-win. So I have to tell this story, and you're going to love it because it's a bit like this. It was end of breakfast service. The lunch chef didn't come in yet, but we had an early client, and he wanted the confit, duck confit.
Yeah.
And it was just a duck leg and maybe a thigh with it. Did you do that together? On a plate. I mean, I'd never actually seen one go out. This must have been a regular because he knew exactly what to order. And so I got it. You don't even warm it up. I don't think we even warmed it up. Maybe barely. Maybe it was room temperature.
Yeah, or sometimes I stir it.
Up to the mic.
Or
Sometimes I stir it a little bit on the skin to make the skin all crispy.
right, but very minimal. So they were ordering this, and while that's what it was. While we were just getting the chill off of it, I decided, well, we're at the end of breakfast, and I have the breakfast potatoes. What is better than potatoes in duck fat? I mean, nothing, literally nothing is better. And so I just put a little duck fat in that skillet, just throwing those around a bit. And I think there might have been 8, maybe 7 for a round number of little cubes of potatoes. And it went up on the pass, and the girl out front, Gabby, I think, served it. And boy, was I in trouble with the manager. And then he told Pascal, and when Pascal came in, I got in so much
What's so upset
trouble
about putting some little potatoes along with this?
because it wasn't standardized. And because, and I had to learn that in a really hard way. I cried. Alberto was there, and
I remember.
I cried. I said, Chef, why can't we love the customer enough to give them 7 little potatoes?
Yeah.
I will pay you for those potatoes. And he says, it's not about money.
point.
That's not the point.
Predictability.
And I still didn't know how to say yes, Chef. It just wounded me deeply, but it was some of the best training because now I find it when I'm doing private events and somebody tries to put something on there that wasn't in my vision, wasn't in, this is my creation. It could have been better. And that's something you told me.
Yeah.
You said, Andrea, brilliant idea. Of course, potatoes and duck fat with that confit, but we didn't have the conversation.
Yeah.
And I took control of a situation that wasn't mine to take. And I thought I was doing the most generous act of making the customer so happy. And that's something really important to learn as a young chef.
I never put down your food.
No.
I just say, hey, I'm here to...
You said I'm the chef.
To teach you what I know and share my knowledge.
Yeah.
And then when you
deliver what's on the menu.
And when you when you be on your own,
and you said, and that's what you said. You said you told me the importance of the consistency. You said it's not to quench your creativity. It's so that when the customer comes back and somebody else is back there and serves them the duck like how they always had it, they're going to complain.
Exactly.
Because they didn't have it how you made it.
Yeah.
And those things of consistency, I mean, they're everywhere in life, right?
And if they come a day that you're not working, and that's even worse.
Right. And then it's like, well, they did that, and then you've got problems, and then you're...
So having said that, I'm going to go completely backwards here and talk about improvisation. That little inspiration of whatever that little powder is that you made, it sounds like it was pretty simple to prepare, was spectacular. That's the difference between bread and butter and a memory. And something I want more of.
They're amazing.
It's totally amazing.
Well,
a little tiny puff of powder totally transformed that into something.
And stay in your mouth.
It's still, I can still taste it, and I still want to taste more of it. Yeah.
So that is about just using everything, respecting the food. Like all the vegetables, the scraps don't go in the trash. They go in the compost heap to give back to the earth. Mm-hmm. There's just so many things that way. And with the garlic, when we roast garlic, just to roast garlic, you pop out all the garlic cloves, and then you throw away all these skins. And some of them still have garlic in them, but we throw them away. So I looked at that one day. I'm like, I got to stop doing this. I'm breaking my own rules. What can I do? And so I further dehydrated and roasted those skins and then blended them with salt. Yeah. And it was just a trial, and
That sounds like something anybody could, even I
anybody could do, and you can do.
And it's the difference between an ordinary meal and a memorable meal.
Yeah.
Between something that you just eat without thinking and something that you can't forget.
Right, and you're borrowing that from me right now, but when you start thinking that way, and Chef Pascal taught me to think that way, when you think that way, you're going to apply it to so many different areas in your own cooking. And that's when you start having your signature, your handprint on something and start elevating your own cuisine. Right?
Yeah. Like when you grow herbs at home, you have more than you need. Mm-hmm. Don't let them go to waste. Cut them up. I do that at home. Make a little bouquet, hang them upside down, and let them air dry. And when it's air dry, remove all the good parts, the leaves, and then crush it. And then you have the best fresh herb powder.
And that little, it's almost like pixie dust. It's almost like magic dust.
Oh, yeah.
That little bit of dash was the difference between something ordinary and extraordinary.
Fortunately, you can buy those little meal.
That's, wow.
That's the one that was on the butter.
And garlic, again, would not be something I would ever mess with because it's so overpowering. And what's this? This is the rosemary thyme.
This is actually
parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme.
That's true love of mine.
Yes.
And I will call it, it's like a little tube of happiness.
It is like a little tube of happiness. That's exactly what it is.
But when on bread, that's great. You have an omelet, you throw a little dust. It's like pixie dust.
Yeah.
And it just changes your everyday something into something a little bit more special.
You should market and sell that pixie dust. We'll come up with a whole line here of pixie dust.
No. I want to teach the people how to cook.
We're in an entrepreneur center. We immediately want to monetize and mass produce.
Some people learn the wrong way, and I won't say name, but you will recognize it. You don't bang food. You don't.
Bang. So we didn't say Emerald's name here. We just
it's a little snow.
Oh, bam!
It's a little snow. You just sprinkle. That's the whole thing. Because it's.
But I think even Emerald, I think, was trying to emphasize. It's just a little dash of something to make something go bang.
The gimmick is amazing. because I mean he had that little touch.
Yeah, little touch of
He
his
actually
own.
that was a good part of his style of demonstrating cooking.
But most food I see, and I think that's why California fusion cuisine, and which was an evolution from French cuisine, my son-in-law would be the first to say, I can't stand that stuff. It's just a little tiny portion that they charge a ton of money to, and it's all overblown. It's just tons of this and tons of that. It's almost like it goes beyond something you can eat. It might be pretty to look at. You know, it's too much. It's too much.
Okay, you take a piece of bread.
All right.
You eat it like this. Okay, you pay the price of the bread.
Yeah.
When you won't mind if I put or she put a piece of butter like this with some of that magic powder.
Yeah.
Magic powder.
You pay twice and you don't care because you have that experience.
I would. Bread is just something you fill up on. And the bread can be good or it can be just okay, but it's not the memorable part of the meal, mostly.
But it's not just about bread. Everything else.
Oh, yeah, I can see this on all sorts, like she said, an omelet or other sorts of things.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That little pixie dust, that little magic dust. All right, so is that cooking from scratch? Is that finding...
Yeah, I think it is. It's just using your imagination. Back to my garden.
Mm-hmm.
People at my dinner parties, I'll come out and explain every course. And people sometimes go, gosh, I got to see that garden. And it's not a big garden. It's not. But when you're making something with the grape leaves, long after, I mean, the grapes are great, the ones that the birds don't get. But you have all these grape leaves that you can do things with. And then the fig trees. Mm-hmm. Using fig leaves in food is amazing. My fig leaf ice cream, people go crazy over. Right?
Do you grow squash in fall and winter?
I don't. I don't have a huge garden space, but the honeysuckles that are growing over my wall from my neighbors, getting those and making an infused cream with honeysuckles. Oh. I mean, you can do, and you put that on a crepe Suzette. So now you've got a...
I would love to hear more. We're run out of time completely.
Okay.
We got another show in 10 minutes here. We got to go. How do they find you if they want to learn to cook like this? If they want to, I would have said not to buy your products, but you're saying you're more a teacher. You want to teach people how they themselves can throw some pixie dust, some magic from scratch into their home food to spice it up, to jazz it up, to turn it up.
Turn it up and have fun and break bread together. Yeah. My website is Chez Andrea Cuisine.
That's
my
CHEZ for those who are French challenged here. Chez. Okay.
Andrea, Andrea Cuisine. And also that's my Instagram handle as well. Look at Pascal go to town. This is a chocolate.
All right. Oh, chocolate's the perfect way for me.
Chocolate and fresh cherries at the time. Loaf. Tell me what you think of that.
Oh, my God.
So right away, Chef Pascal said, "Oh, cranberries." And it's like, no.
That's a bread with cherry. The cherry is moist, or the chocolate is moist in it still.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because it was just baked. So it still has some of the steam from the oven in there.
Wow.
But,
I never refrigerate bread.
Really?
No.
Well, that's all right. I put my bread all the time so it lasts.
No, if you want
mold.
if you want it to last like this, you slice and you put it in the freezer actually and take it out slice by slice.
Really?
And it does much better than the fridge. It won't be tough and it's
if you
perfect
have
with toast.
A fabric bag, like a bread bag.
Yeah, that'll last
Yeah,
a little longer too.
Oh, this is amazing.
Such
I'm so glad.
simple tricks.
Truly.
Bread can be dessert too.
Again, yeah.
And there's no sugar in the dough. It's just from the chocolate.
The previous people brought in some a Mexican bakery, the Pan Dulce, which is a
we
sweet
saw
bread.
that.
Yeah.
We even scored one.
Oh, there you go. So again, I didn't grow up thinking of bread as I guess it's a cake is kind of a bread or a pie is kind of a bread or whatever, but I didn't think of bread as the dessert. Bread's what you start, not what you end.
So I invite the audience all the people that are food lovers to break the bread with Andrea.
And
thank you, Chef.
Offer what, private classes at your...
I do private classes. I'm also a private chef where I come into your home. And I still bring the scratch element. There might be something like goat cheese that I've made, and it's been 3 weeks in the making before it gets to your table. So yeah, it needs a little time and a whole lot of love. And I cater to clientele that love that experience.
Well, that's what we're all craving more than ever.
I'm very proud of you.
Oh, Chef, I'm proud to know you.
Spectacular.
And be known by you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much, Paul.
Hope you come back and show us some of your other subtlety tricks here and some other...
No, you just want more bread.
I want more bread. No, I want to hear about the goat cheese and all the other stuff.
Actually, you need to come to...
I think so.
What class was it? One of the classes.
Well, I don't know how to make bread at all, so yeah.
All right.
All right.
That's a class.
Or pies or cakes or cookies.
Pie class. That one too.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you soon. Thank you.
Chef Andrea of Chez Andrea Cuisine. Thanks so much. Wow. Isn't that what we tune in for? An experience? I wish you could be here tasting it. No, I don't, because then I have to share it. Well, maybe that's the magic of it. We all need to share it and break bread together. That's what we try and do over this show each and every week, behind the kitchen doors, with the man who shows it all to us, Chef Pascal, right here in Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio, streaming live from our studios here at the University of California, Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation. Of course, the chef wants the last word.
Who said there is no great food in Orange County?
Not me, not anymore. Thanks for joining us.